Hello, hello, and welcome. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm just getting some last minute adjusted. I apologize. It's always difficult when you have new setup. But we're back. Maybe, hopefully. Trying to put everything where it needs to go, and then I realized that my mouse is like really, really loud. So maybe if I just do this really quickly to see how everybody's doing. But that's not why you came here. Hang on, one last thing. I swear. On the precious. There we go. There we go. Hello, Logical Spock and Rocky the Black Dragon and Rolling Chairs. Hi, hi. Let me know if I sound okay. Let me know how everything is. If you can see clearly. We're not having a silent stream this time. The unintentional silent stream last time where I'm like talking, I'm engaging, we're getting things done. I'm laughing, having a great time, and I start reading the chat and they're all like, I guess this is a silent stream. And so I pop on over to my channel to watch like on my phone, and I realize like no sound is coming through. That was embarrassing, but oh well. It's all part of it, isn't it? But how's everybody doing? Tonight, if you remember from a few streams ago, where I was coloring my little elf guy, we decided to kind of create a holiday for our creatures that we have. You guys remember our creatures, this world that we're making. And somehow we decided on a food, right? So we created the holiday, and then we're like, okay, we got to have the festive food to go along with it, right? Of course, no holiday is complete without some kind of food, right? Hello to everybody. Thank you so much. Haru. So we created a holiday, right? And that holiday, I have the notes from that day, was All Laurel's Eve. For those that don't remember, All Laurel's Eve, also known as Marsh Day. And we came up with a food, fried gross ratworm stew. Does anybody remember that? Is anybody excited for that? So I'm just switch things up and get a little ethereal here. And fried ratworm stew. So I honestly have been pondering for a while. You can see I've got the basics of this worm here. I've been trying to figure out how to make this worm interesting and more rat-like. So I hope that you guys are willing to help me out this evening in creating a rat worm. So the only thing that I know it doesn't have to look exactly like a rat, but the only thing that I could come up with in my mind to add to this creature was like a hairy scarf, if you will. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on that. But honestly, like, I would appreciate your feedback, because I mean, already the worm itself, worms already kind of look like rat tails, right? So how are we supposed to make this look more rat-like or unique? It doesn't even have to be rat related. What are other characteristics and features? Now remember, this is supposed to be like the food for that day. And I also remember that we decided we were going to have it with chestnuts. I'm going to try to put some more stuff over here, like maybe the ingredients. And we were talking to the rogue attraction, and he was saying that maybe he could make it. Like, we could figure out how to make ratworm stew. So I'm going to be in talks with Tom. We're going to figure that out. We're going to figure out how to make ratworms. Rat ears and whiskers. Well, see, John, I'm afraid I will make it too too gimmicky if I do that. But you're right. See, I was even thinking of like teeth. Like, they have those really gnarly teeth in the front. But whiskers, we could maybe work with some. I thought maybe some whiskers at the end of the tail, or like a barb or something like that. Maybe instead of what a rat looks like. What are some? What are some characteristics of rats? What are they known for besides bringing diseases upon all mankind? And hey, it's King's Advisors! Weren't you on a ship not too long ago? What are we drawing? We are drawing the main ingredient in ratworm stew, the official food of All Laurel's Eve. So we're going to see how we're going to combine a rat and a worm. Long tails, right? So we kind of already got the tail going on. Furry worms, so LOL says rolling chairs. Pirates. Yeah. That was fun. Let's see. Yes, pirates. All right, so I'm going to be making, like I said, this kind of buck teeth. But see, can you put teeth on a worm? Will that make sense? I try to make my creatures, a little bit cohesive, right? We try to make them... Oh, by the way, guys. By the way, you guys remember little Keffin over here? One of my personal favorites. Guess what I did? I did a thing. For those of you that helped me create Keffin and those that love Keffin as much as I do, you can now, well, not now, but officially in the new year, I'm going to be offering some Koala Weirtoad stickers to the people that helped us create it. Look at him! Isn't he cute? Look at this guy. It makes me so happy when you actually see like another tangible portion of your creature. And I'm going to do that for a lot of the other creatures. I'm going to be putting a poll out for the ones that you like the most. But yeah, I'm going to be having these available soon. Isn't he cute? Look at that. Like exact. Look at that. Little Koala Weirtoad stickers. And they're actually waterproof. I already took my Lara Croft one that I made and I put it on my water bottle. So that's super awesome. But yeah, you too can own your own very own Koala Weirtoad. But anyway, let's get back to our rat. Oh shoot, I went too many pages ahead. Well, that's okay. We'll get it done. But let's see. Have the body narrow more and a rat-like tail at the end. Well, isn't that what this is, though? Isn't a worm essentially just a rat tail? Hello, the lovely Sherry. It's nice to have you. You got any suggestions on how to make a worm look more like a realistic rat, or a rat look more like a worm? Big ears. I've been gone for a bit. Whatever happened to the mermaid-like walrus thing? Wow, that was a while ago. It's awesome that you remember. The Udao. Binzi the Udao is what you're referring to. Yeah, she turned out pretty cool. And she's so far the only... she's the only female creature that I have created. So, and then she's got like this opening in her chest, belly area with teeth-like things where her baby gets born. Like it's an open section, and she has a teeth thing there that protect the innards and the babies. Yeah, we had a whole story, as you can see, about that. Maybe they do the opposites of rats. Ooh, I like where this is headed already. The opposites of rats. Instead of being dangerous from how dirty it is, it could be dangerous from how clean it is. Okay, I like that. I like opposite, out of the box. Koala Weirtoes in the rain, no F's give. Yeah, Keffin doesn't really care what you think about him. That's the kind of guy he is, because he is just so happy that he has this magical piece of wood that keeps him from turning into a rock, if you guys remember his story. All right, so, okay. So instead of, they're dangerous if they're clean. Oh, so is it kind of like a puffer fish where it's dangerous to eat it, right? So you have to clean, you have to be careful when you clean the worm before you eat it, maybe? Something like that? Does that sound plausible? Maybe the belly should be more wormy and the back more hairy. Oh, so kind of like just trail it down. Maybe, all right. Okay, so worms, of course, we know they live in the ground. Let's see, I won't do it down the whole length of it, but maybe just a wee bit of hair down the back there. So worms typically they live, of course, in the dirt and the mud and stuff. Is there somewhere else that a worm could possibly live? I don't do a lot of research on worms, so I don't know that much about where they could and could not live. Let's see. There's worms that live in fruit, right? Maybe. Oh, this is disgusting. What if it's a worm that? Oh, I don't like where we're doing this, but we're doing it for we have to. The real world. What makes a story realistic and can really draw you in is not only the fantasy element where we have our escapism, excuse me, but it's also where the fantasy meets the reality. So what if it's some kind of bacteria worm that only grows in cheese? Is it too on the nose? Yeah. Santa Megatron. Hey. Maybe you can create some unique types of fruit for the world as well. That's possible. Of course, we're going to be building a whole world with this. So I kind of like the idea that this worm grows inside of cheese, right? So that would also give it some of this rat-like quality, this mouse rat quality. And maybe more like the name is not so much that it looks that much like a rat, but it sort of does, but it's more about the cheese and the fact that it is kind of a dirty, nasty thing, but you can clean it. Maybe. All right, what does the face look like? Maybe it should have like a little, we could give it, oh my gosh, I hate this so much, but I kind of like it at the same time. We'll give it kind of a, well, it's not really like a rat nose, is it? Is it like a rat nose? Ugh, I hate it so much. But it needs this to kind of make the holes in the cheese. So, it's kind of like Swiss cheese. Okay, so instead of Swiss cheese, we need a different kind of name for essentially Swiss cheese. But the reason that this cheese has a bunch of holes in it is not because of the bubbles, but because of this little guy right here. Even though he's going to get eaten, I feel like he needs a name. And you guys know that I do love me some old-fashioned, standard American names for these creatures, like Keffin and Moby and Carl, all the good ones. I can't wait to do a Carl sticker. I'm going to be working on him soon too. Oh, I need a Carl sticker in my life. Okay. All right. Maybe it can go underwater because there are some sea worms out there too. Oh, yeah, Fred. Fred's a good name. Fred the worm. I was thinking Anthony, but we could go with Fred. Oh, poor Fred. But what an honor. What an honor to be chosen for all Laurel's Eve as the main day. So, okay, so we've got... What kind of texture do we think he should have? Should he... Well, I guess he would be smooth. I don't think he would have too much on him, right? I mean, worms are pretty basic creatures. They do have little lines and stuff like that because they get all squinched up. It only has a nose and is only attracted to the smell of cheese. Yes. Okay, so eyeless is what we're saying. Totally eyeless. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna write down the no eyes, just guided by the smell. Right. Maybe it has hidden fin-like feather hairs that only come out when he goes for a swim. Wormtail from Harry Potter. That's right. Let's see. Well, see, the thing is that a lot of these creatures that we're creating are somewhat on the plains, in the forest, woodland kind of creatures. So for them to have to go to the sea to to get Fred seems a little out of the way. So maybe he does live. Oh, maybe he does live in the marshes and stuff like that. But they, at a certain term of their lifespan, they seek to be clean, maybe at full maturity. And so they sniff out the cheese to clean themselves off. What do you think about that? King's Advisors asks, do you ever do objects instead of creatures, like a sailboat or a landscape? Not in this book yet. I do plan to do that. In the future, we've kind of just been building all of these creatures first, and then wanted to go into, other things. Like I wanted to start creating the realms and the countries, or whatever, if you will, of these characters, building the backstory. We slowly, like with the evil person, where's he at? Nars Galar, or whatever his name was. I kind of forgot what we named him. Mazdor, or Solomon. Apparently we couldn't figure out what. We kind of decided to talk a little bit about the human aspect, like are there humans in this world and everything like that. So I'm really excited. And of course we had Dastian. Where'd he go? Dastian, the wayward pilgrim. The what are they called? The Volans. That's right. They're not fairies. They're Volans. But yeah, eventually I'd like to get into landscaping and things like that. So seek to be clean. Yeah. I've had to learn landscaping doing my dioramas. It's a lot easier than you think. I've done landscapes before. When I paint, plenty of landscapes. I'm not a big fan, honestly, of drawing landscapes. I'd rather paint landscapes than draw them. But so, there's the moon is made of cheese. Maybe he lives there. Wow. I do like the idea of the puddles and stuff like that. And then when let's see. All right. So they live and, well, just yeah, makes sense. It makes sense, right? That she would have to go to the marshes to get this, because this is for Marsh Day, right? They live in pools, or let's see, marshes. When they reach full maturity, they desire to be clean. There's probably like some kind of chemical or odor or something like that in cheese that they are specifically attracted to, and that's what makes them want to be clean. The desire to be clean and go in search of cheese. They slither, I guess is the word. How do you spell that? Slither. Hooked on phonics works for me. It's not a word I use all the time. They slither through. Let's see. They slither through the blocks. Which creates the holes. Okay, so we got that. Hey, everybody. So we got Zekrut 315. Hello. Hey, it's the Roguish. We were just talking about him a little while ago. Ratworm stew. What spices do I need? I'm not sure. Remember, it's supposed to be like a holiday kind of. Yeah, they were something special, weren't they? Hooked on phonics works for me. Ratworm stew. What spices do we need? Well, we do remember that we needed chestnuts, but I'm not like the difference with the chestnuts and things like that. I'm not familiar enough with all of the different kinds of nuts of whether they're. I know there's some are more complementary to certain things, so we would have to decide that. I like the way that the walnut looks like. It's a lot more pretty to try to draw. I was going to put that in here somewhere. Chestnuts are just like they just kind of look like hazelnuts, to be honest. You had said that what was it? Gator meat was the closest thing that you could think of, or that you would have access to. I don't know what pairs well with it. It was supposed to be fried ratworm stew with chestnuts. Oh. Shh, Tom, you can't say duck. You have to say ratworm. You know, gotta sell it. Maybe they become parasitic when they don't have enough cheese. Oh, so they need the cheese. They need it. Hey, watching a live stream and just noticed this was on, so I left that for. Well, thank you, Forgotten Man. This is the place to be when we're talking about ratworm stew, fried ratworm stew with chestnuts. Let me see. Let's see. Well, I'll put that up here. Okay. So we talked about how they might be more dangerous if they're clean versus when they're dirty. Why would that be? Why would something be more dangerous if it was clean? Maybe it exposes their skin, which has a more of a poisonous substance to it, and so the mud of the swamps and the pools and whatever like that keeps it from spreading, maybe. But that probably makes them look evil. Like they should they look so evil? Well, to be honest, little Fred here, I think he looks kind of cute. He kind of looks like a weird horse, I think. So, I don't know. I don't think he looks too evil. Now, I would be devastated, terrified, and running for the hills if I found this in my refrigerator, to be honest. But, okay. Okay, here's the other question. You were talking about how it looks. I was kind of picturing this as brown, since we're kind of going for a rat look. What colors should we do? I would naturally assume it would be a pink tail, right? Yeah, maybe there's like oils on its body, and if it's mixed in with the mud and stuff like that, it's not harmful. But if it's clean and it secretes its oils and stuff like that in the cheese, that's when it's harmful. That would be believable, right? Is it moldy cheese and they clean in the mud? Not uncommon. There's always that possibility. Let's see. Live in the pools. Let me make sure I can read this. They live in the pools. And that kind of what type of creature is being created this time? Well, if you couldn't tell, Forgotten Man, I mean, if it's not obvious, we're making the ratworm for ratworm stew. They make cheese better, not spoil the cheese. I don't know. I don't know if it really would make it better. Maybe it only makes the cheese better. Maybe, I don't know. Can you put cheese, Tom? Can you put cheese in a stew? Would that make it better? I'm gonna throw Tom for a loop and be like, can we throw in watermelon too? Just to see what he does. I don't know if we can put feathers on this guy. I think we might be overcomplicating him if we put like gills and fins and things like that. I kind of wanted to keep him simple, but I know that's kind of boring, isn't it? So violet gray feathers with, well, maybe he needs to have whitish pink. Maybe he's like brown here, but his skin is white. I am kind of imagining him white, and maybe it goes into a pink. And I kind of like the idea that right around here might be a purplish kind of color. Wow. Okay. See how much I know. You can actually put cheese in stew. A rat with gills would definitely not work. Yeah. Maybe too many animals. Okay. So our ingredient. All right. Let's see if we can. All right. Here we go. Fried. That's a terrible F. Fried. Rat worm stew. And his name is Fred. Poor Fred. May he rest in peace. All right. So, fried rat worm stew. Let's see. So first of all, this is the official meal of All Laurel's Eve Marsh Day. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I need to visit Tom and help him cook this and let him teach me how to make ratworm stew. As long as Zort's not in there. But he's a monkey lizard, so it's different. Just because people call him a rat doesn't mean that he is. So. That would be so cool. Because I would have to try it. I'd have to taste test it. Tom, I'm coming to your house. Let's see. All Laurel's Eve Marsh Day. Okay, so... Oh, I have to write with chestnuts. We can always alter the nut here. It could always be something else. Walnut. Okay, so our ingredients, let's see. So we need one, or whatever. We need a rat worm. We need some kind of nut, right? Nuts. We need cheese. I am no cheese connoisseur. Okay, I do not do cheese. I really like the flavor of a lot of cheeses, but I cannot handle... I don't like the flavor of some, like cheddar, can't do anything with it, but I really don't like the texture of cheese in large quantities. It makes me feel very ill. And so for the most part, I don't eat cheese unless it's just like not the main ingredient. Although I can do mozzarella, but again, kind of have to have it in small doses. And usually it's paired with something like tomatoes and basil leaves or something like that. You know, pizza, obviously. And I can have like an American cheese sandwich as long as there's, again, something else on it, or a hamburger. But I can't do it by itself. So all that to be said, I cannot help with determining what kind of cheese would go in here. Which makes it really crappy that if I was going to try fried ratworm stew, hopefully I would enjoy it because of the cheese. I don't know. It sounds exciting to me. I'm going to... Yeah, I know. No, I'm not sensitive to dairy at all. Like, I can eat it. I can't... It's a texture thing. It has nothing to do with any bodily functions. It has nothing to do with that. Cheese, yogurt, milk, I can digest all of it. I just don't like the way... I hate cheese, the way it feels in my mouth. I hate it. It disgusts me. It really does, unfortunately. It really disgusts me. They hate humans because we want their cheese to eat, but they need to be clean, so they infest the populated area. Well, see, the thing is, rolling chairs, there are no humans. Dun, dun, dun. In this world, if you remember from when we had Mazdar, we talked about how humans have left the building. Essentially, we have... I know. Anyway, goat cheese would pair best and hold up. I probably... Now, I like the flavor of goat cheese, even though I know it's really strong. But again, I can only handle it in small doses because it's like, once it's too much, it's all that creamy. It's the same thing with cream cheese and all that kind of stuff. It's just like too much, and it's just like, ugh, I can't. Yeah, I don't eat cheese by itself. That's weird for me. Oh, some people do. I hate raisins. Can't stand the texture. Yeah, see, it's the texture. Feta would be better. Oh, Tom. He's saying feta would be better. Feta's weird. It's kind of like crumbled up earwax. Which is what the same thing I think about cheddar cheese. But anyway. All right. So I'm going to assume there needs to be an herb in this. Now I can alter this in the future. What kind of herb would belong in here? One of my personal favorites to cook with is rosemary. But I have no idea if that's complementary to what we have here. So, let's see. Well, then they have a hatred with some other race that loves cheese. So they just go to war. Could you imagine a war of worms? How sad and pathetic would that be? Like all these things just squiggling around, and some giant like Donker over here just comes over and squishes them. Just like that's it. War's over. That would be kind of funny. Okay. All right. So let me see. Because we don't have much. I like raisins, but I can't stand them in any other food. I'm not a huge raisin person unless it's covered in yogurt. You know, there's just I just don't see the point of eating them. I don't. Okay. So let's see if we throw some color on here. Make this a little more interesting, because obviously we know that a worm is not very interesting. Bless their hearts. If they have them. I would assume that a worm has a heart, but I don't know for sure, to be honest. I don't study worms. I don't make it a habit of knowing. Okra. Oh, saffron. Now he's fancy. Tom over here pulling out the big guns. Saffron. Well, it is a holiday meal. Why wouldn't you go fancy? You know, where's my pencil? We're thinking, I do like okra, to be honest. Now, I've heard boiled okra is nasty, but I have had fried okra. I don't know that I've had it any other way cooked, but I do actually like it. I like it. Okra. This sounds fantastic. Coriander leaves. Nice. I'm actually eating raisins right now. Are these worms bloodsuckers? I don't think so. I don't think Fred is a bloodsucker. More of he wants the cheese. Okra and stews is so good. I've never had. Why, Forgotten Man? What valuable input would you give? What suggestion would you have if he was a bloodsucker? Maybe that's the thing. It's not so much that when they clean themselves, they become dangerous. It's more like maybe if they are blood-sucking worms, which is this is getting so nasty. Maybe if they are blood-sucking worms, they're dangerous when they clean themselves. Then you can determine which ones are the dangerous ones, right? Because obviously it's not healthy to eat something that's been eating on somebody else's blood. So the ones that are white-bellied, like we'll create Fred, he'll be white-bellied. So if the ones that are white-bellied means that they have not done that, whereas maybe the ones that are like pink all the way through or something like that, they're the dangerous, dirty ones. I like that. That sounds pretty good. Believable. Okay, so then I was gonna put kind of stuff. A purple. Let me look for a nice purple. It's gonna have like a little purple kind of ring thing here at the base. Oh, I also wanted to say thank you to the subscriber who sent me more pencils and the Stargate sticker. I can't wait to slap that on something. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. They got it on my Amazon wish list, and I'm so excited about it. I just haven't decided where I'm going to put that sticker. Like, it's such a cool sticker. You got to find the right spot. But thank you so much for that generous gift. All right. This gumbo. Have I ever? I've had. I don't know if I've had. All right. I know that depending on who you talk to, there's gumbo and then there's gumbo, right? So, and some people have a different version of what gumbo is. I don't know what the actual definition is that makes something into a gumbo, but I have made something similar, I guess. I think it was labeled as a gumbo, but man, it was shrimp. It was a soup. I don't know. Is gumbo a soup? I don't know. It's too complicated. Stews, soups, chowders. It's just too much. But anyway, it was this really delicious soup-like concoction that is a little bit thicker than soup, but not quite as thick as chowder. And it had shrimp in it, and it's been a long time since I've made it, but I stumbled across this recipe. It had shrimp in it, and it had cinnamon. And this was the first time that I'd ever seen cinnamon used in a savory meal, and I loved it. I loved it. Found it somewhere on the internet back in the early days of the internet, and I'd love to remake it. It's a very warm meal, and so I've said this often, that I had a neighbor that was from Iran, right? And so it's so fascinating when you meet people from other parts of the world, and especially people that come from very spice central locations, right? She uses saffron and like everything, and we were talking about cinnamon, excuse me, and in her country they use cinnamon for everything, for a lot of things, but not for sweets. Here in America, we typically use cinnamon in our sweets. Apple crumbles, gingerbread, pancakes, things like that. I love this definition right here. Gumbo is gumbo. Yeah. So the rat is named Fred. Yes. Fred. Ooh, star anise. Fancy. The rogue attraction, please don't bring up good. Gumbo is a soup. How the roux is made makes the difference. Yeah. I'm sure it does. You'll definitely know if it's gumbo, because gumbo is gumbo. That leaves me in the dark. That's not fair. I don't know how to process this information, this vague information. But anyway, yeah, she was saying that how so many times in their country, cinnamon's not used for sweets. It is, but again, not like over here in the States where we primarily use cinnamon. It's notorious for being used in sweets and winter or fall kind of foods. So, why not? Yeah. Yes, for sure. They absolutely do, and I love it. See your comment for Fred? Uh-oh. What? Soup is a gumbo? Or gumbo is soup? The rogue attraction, please don't bring up good food. What did I miss? The bloodsucker one? I thought we talked about that. State of Megatron, maybe there's two different species of worms. The rat worm is more survivalistic, and the other species is a bloodsucker parasite. I, right now, am not comfortable with thinking about parasites. So, you guys can think what you want. I'm gonna let it slide. I can't. I'm very much disturbed by parasites. So, I'm gonna let it be. All right, Fred, we're coloring up this face here. Give you a little bit of a pinkish face, and then we'll try to, I would say, color the. Give him a little bit of a pinky nose. He's kind of cute, sorta. Poor guy. Tell you what, there's really not. There are very few creatures that I have absolutely no sympathy for. Worms being one of them. If something bad happens to them, it's like, well, it's a worm. Kind of the same thing. Well, I feel more for ants than I do for worms and creatures like that. It's nasty. The spice of life. My comment just before Rogue brought up gumbo. Let's have a look. I apologize, but I see the one about are they bloodsuckers, and then okra stew. You need to try gumbo, and then that's all I see. Feel free to type it in again, or did you say time? Is that the one you're talking about? Because that, other than that, like, you talking about raisins. So, apologize for missing it. If I still haven't seen it, feel free to type it again. All right, we'll give him a little bit of a white belly here. I don't know that you can really see too much of it, but it's there. I swears on the precious. I can see it. Hopefully you can. A little bit cleaner. Probably, yeah, there we go. Okay, so okra, some kind of nut, some cheese, like this. Sounds like it could actually come together to be something. Let's see. Okay, all right. So not only do we have our main ingredients, we have our holiday, we have how the people fetch the food. And look, it's Elsa Barrett saying, hail. Hail, hail. So we have our method, our means. People go out, they catch them, they find them in the cheese, whatever the case might be for Marsh Day. But some cultures have etiquette on how they eat things, right? Or drink, I'm not familiar with a bunch of different ways, but I know that, sometimes you're only supposed to be served. How does that go? Like, I know if you're like a waitress or a server, an attendant at the food restaurant place, that you're actually supposed to be served from the left, I think, because most people eat with the right, but most servers don't care or pay attention. They have no clue anymore. There's the thing where it's like you have to, you kind of need to let a certain person go first, or people to the right always go first, or you have to clink glasses for something. When we do a toast, you hold up your cup. When you do cheers, you clink. I wonder when we serve this ratworm stew here, what exactly, maybe there's some kind of formality. Something strange and different like that. What do you guys think? There we go. You can see the white. For sure you can see the white. Spork! What? Here's an idea for a future creature. Combine a turtle with a porcupine or a hedgehog. Well, we kind of did that with the sloth, but yeah, we could probably... That would be kind of cool. Sure. I'll have to see about that. Porcupine. Did you guys ever see the episode of Family Feud where he asked them words that follow pork or something like that? This one guy gets up there. Steve goes up to him. He's like, name a word or give me a word that follows... Give me another word that follows the word pork. And this fool gets up there and he's like, cupine. And Steve Harvey just looks at that man. He's like, I know you didn't just say cupine as in pork cupine. It's like, that's one word. Oh, well. I thought that was funny. But silver service. Been there, never again. Silver service. Okay. All right, so then this needs to be kind of a brownish color, correct? Correct, Mundo? Let's see. Let me give him a little bit of these. It's very rare that we color a character and creature in this book, so I'm glad that we get to add a little bit of color, a little bit of spice of life, since we were talking about that, every now and then. sometimes, we get so busy with the drawing and the storytelling and the ideas flowing that there's just never enough time to throw on some color. So it's nice to have a little bit of a change here. Yes, Steve Harvey's reactions are just the best. That one lady that got up there and started singing the Holy Spirit Activate, that song that was going viral on like TikTok reels and stuff like that. I had only ever heard the reel, and then one day their reel came up of the actual clip of who was singing it. Like, oh, well, there it is. Now I know the origin story. Okay. Gosh, I would just die if this was in my food. I probably wouldn't be able to eat for a very long time. But again, we can't just color and draw the happy things of life. We have to. That's not what makes a realistic story. That's not what makes a realistic world. You have to have the good, the bad, the ugly, the gross, the happy, the beautiful. Gotta have them all. They're like Pokemon. You've gotta have them all. So, but of course there needs to be a balance. That's the hard part, finding the balance. Missed out waitering, silver service waitering, proper waitering. Yes, I figured that's what that meant. The lost art anymore. That's like, okay, so I remember watching this show on Netflix. Forgive me for not remembering what the title was, but it had to do with etiquette. And there was this lady that was teaching people proper etiquette. Now, I know, and I'm sure you all know, that we're actually supposed to, if you will, have our napkins unfolded on our laps. Most of us are pretty familiar with this basic knowledge of etiquette. Pretty fundamental. Not a lot of people do it, but it is. I think we all have heard of this in our lifetime, right? So, but anyway, what's interesting is that she further elaborated on this, and it's not just, let's see. So we have our little napkin here, and a lot of times they're like folded, and they're folded into triangles and things like that, but we'll just pretend like this is there. So most of us know we need to put our napkin here, and a lot of times we put the folds of the napkins, like the leaves of the napkins like this on our lap, right? So we can take it up to our face, dab, dab, put down, keep it. Apparently, did you guys know that we've been doing it wrong this whole time? So we're actually supposed to have the leaves of the napkin this way so that we can quickly reach up, dab, dab, put it back down under and fold it so that nobody can see it. So that everything always stays clean looking. Instead of having it this way, dab, dab, and then you see all the stains. You're actually meant to do it this way so it's more discreet and always remains clean looking. So I actually started utilizing that now. I'm like, why not? I took home ec in high school, and then I also went through an Anne of Green Gables phase. And I just love some of that old school stuff, old timey stuff. Is some of it kind of a stretch, some of it inconvenient? Yeah, but there was something respectable about it, something that kept us looking clean and effortless, even though it required a lot of effort. And excuse me. And so I started implementing that in my routine when I go out to eat. I started putting my napkin with the leaves facing me. Just little things like that make you feel all fancy. Perhaps you eat the stew by turning the worms around. What? Perhaps you eat the stew by turning the worms around your fork like we eat spaghetti. I don't think... Tom might correct me on this one later. I don't think that they leave the worms looking like this. The way I see it is that the worms get chopped up into bits. I don't want no worms floating around. I mean, you probably could. Maybe there are different worms in this world for that. Could totally be. Spaghetti worms. Spaghetti-o worms. But that's how I see it. Like in the stew, they would be chopped up bits. That's how I'd rather prefer it. Sushi worms. No, don't say it, Anonymous. That's so gross. Oh, that's nasty. That's so bad. I can't believe I'm drawing a worm. It's so nasty. I hate worms. No, yes. I have gone fishing and I do hook my own worms. But I honestly am so repulsed by worms that I would rather use minnows when I go fishing. I am much more happy and comfortable. This is how sad my life is. I am much more happy and comfortable jabbing a hook into a tiny fish's eye and head than I am through a faceless, yicky, gummy thing. Yes. Let's see. Rolling Chairs asks, do they have to be cleaned in cheese before being eaten? I don't think so. Well, let's elaborate. Elaborate on that. Why? Why do you think, or what do you think it would benefit them from having them cleaned in cheese? That's what you were saying, correct? You wanted to have them cleaned in cheese, correct? Okay. Oh, he kind of looks like he's got some little whiskers up in here, like a little rat. Okay. Time for some darkness. Maybe, I don't know. I'm getting a vision of leaves, certain kinds of leaves. I know that was really vague and very random, and I just kind of left it hanging. I'm trying to put my vision into words. But I don't know, something with leaves, whether it's packaging something and release, maybe there's some kind of ingredient that is I'm just going to make this 10 times harder for Tom. Maybe there's some kind of ingredient that is time sensitive, wrapped up in some kind of leaf, kind of like lumbus bread from Lord of the Rings. And did I really just say Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings, dear God in heaven. And I swear I'm American. But anyway, so there's some kind of ingredient that's wrapped up in leaves or a leaf. And when you get ready to serve, and everybody gets one, and when you serve the stew, then the formal mannerism idea is to unwrap and drop whatever it is into the stew, and maybe it bubbles, maybe it just changes color, who knows? But that would be kind of cool. Deep fried cheesy worms. Yeah. Actually sounds kind of good in a weird mousy way. Sorry, gotta get ready for Mario Kart. And Rogue is, well, dogs be like that. Have fun, Tom. Thank you so much for your input. I'm excited about 2024 and Ratworm Stew. Go out there and win the W. Well, I know it's redundant, but anyway, go get them. Well, I thought they were dirty, and the only thing would clean them is cheese. So I just guess that's what you'd have to do to make it not harmful to eat. Yeah. Possible. I know, we've bounced quite a few. We've bounced around quite a few ideas. There's not, the more you think about it, it's like, what would the benefit or of cleaning them in cheese, or how would you do that? How do you clean something in cheese? Because, like I said, even in a fantasy and make-believe world, you have to have an element of realism, so it needs to make sense in some convoluted way. What do you guys think? So you get your bowl. Here. We'll just pretend that my cup of coffee here in my little cauldron, because of course they would serve it in like a little wooden bowl. You get your little bowl of ringworm stew. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh, that's my least favorite worm of all that God's creations. You get your bowl of rat worm stew, fried rat worm stew. While it's simmering in the little pot, you've got all the fragrances wafting out. Maybe there's a bit of foam from something there. Got the cheese melted in there, maybe pulling apart. The okra is very colorful, kind of dancing on top there. The chestnuts are doing whatever they're doing inside of a stew. I don't know. And then everybody gets a little pocket, the little leaf pocket full of something. And when I don't know that they say the prayers. I do not know that God exists in this world, but I'm sure they do something. Maybe they give a cheer. Maybe they have a moment of silence. Maybe they light a candle. We don't know. And then when that's all said and done, they unwrap the little thingy, little package, the little parcel with whatever ingredient inside. Toss it in, fold it over. Maybe it needs to come from the left, because that would be good luck. Who knows? There's a lot of strange and bizarre customs in this world. And then when that thing goes kerplunk inside of our stew, it turns into the mark of the Dark Lord Voldemort, and that's how we know whether or not you belong to the dark side. I don't know. Hello, Twigs. Hola, amigos. By my blood-sucking Fred comments, it was fun when you watched it. Lord of the Rings is the woke body positivity version. Or maybe it's the Irish version. Here we go. I often told people that when it came to I don't know, this is just leading. I saw the Lord of the Rings comment, but because I heard some people call the Rings of Power show Lord of them Rings and all the funny stuff. And I will say that there were some elements to the show that were okay. And like I tell everybody, it's like, if it was a generic fantasy show, I would have been okay with it. Was it the greatest thing? No. It was easy watching. Let me put it that way. It would have been easy watching. But when you compare it and you know it for what it's supposed to be, it's just like, no thanks. I'll just go back to watching Stargate SG-1, Reba, Little House on the Prairie, Beverly Hillbillies. Thanks. You thought the orcs looked cool. Yeah, well, some of it did. There were some elements of the show that I thought were really cool. I will be completely honest with you. People got upset about the lady dwarf, but I thought she looked fantastic, to be honest. I thought she did a good job. I really liked her. But let's see. Yeah, for sure. I did not enjoy the Shannara Chronicles. I wanted to. I only got a couple episodes in, and I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. I'll be honest with you. One of the things that really turned me away from the Shannara Chronicles was the fact that, barely into the show, the blonde dude, whatever his face was, Elvis, he ends up, spoiler for those who don't know, but he ends up sleeping with one of these gals, He doesn't even know who she is, and suddenly it's like this whole dramatic fiasco, and it's like right there and then I know that this show is just going to be focused on the wrong thing, and this doesn't make any sense, and they're not even going to care about story building because they're just stupid. They just had it in there for the sake of having it in there. It didn't make any sense to the story. It wasn't necessary. It was just lazy, in my humble opinion. So I was like, I'm not going to waste my time. Back to Beverly Hillbillies or Star Trek, something worth my time. Loved Little House. Hey, back in the day. Back in the day. There was some really it was a well-made show. It really was. Okay. Okay. Well, let's have a look. Kind of a basic thing. I really wanted to include. What does okra look like? I was gonna put. Let's see, because it really is kind of basic. I was gonna put more ingredients in here, but like, let's see. Walnuts are really kind of basic looking. They're very round, little point down here, and they're kind of flat. So maybe some, just for some decoration, so that Fred's just not, oh, you can't see that, I'm sorry, hanging out by himself here before his demise. Who knows, maybe Fred's already dead in this picture right here. So I'll put some walnuts over here. You guys ready for Christmas? Only a couple of days away. Exciting, exciting. I hope you guys have a really, yes, exactly, the okra. I will be putting that on there. Hope you guys are going to have a really wonderful holiday. I'm going to have a great holiday. I just know it. I just know it. I can feel it. But I want to have a great new year. You know, there have been some things that have happened. Good night, John Thomas. Merry Christmas to you too. There's some things that have happened in the past couple of months where it's just like, okay, it's time to seize the day. That thing that I've always wanted to do, the food I've wanted to try, the places that I've wanted to go. It's time to go. It's time to do. And it's hard to be bold. I don't know about you guys, but I find it very difficult and very hard to be bold for what I believe in, or bold for what I want to do and want to be. And this coming year, I won't say it's my New Year's resolution, it's more of my purpose, is to just be bold in what I do, be confident in the things that I can do. I've come a long way, and you guys are a big part of that too, by the way. I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for just showing up and being here. And that tells me, it's like, hey, you're doing something that people enjoy. And as an artist, I'm sure those that are also creatives out there, you understand that. You know what that means. People showing up for you. Who are you? Who am I? You know? And so I'm so grateful and so appreciative. So grateful and so appreciative. And I want to do more. I want to do more traveling. Want to do more exercising, to be honest. Want to do more creation. So my channel might see some changes for these new things that are going to be happening. And by the way, I'm having this stream tonight because I won't be in town on Thursday. I'll be traveling, seeing family, and all the cool sights that I can during the holidays, which is so exciting. Yeah. Some changes. I'm going to maybe bring some challenges. all that kind of stuff. YouTube's changing too. A lot of the social media platforms, things are changing. And unfortunately, you kind of have to change with it or just be lost at the mercy of social media. So I hope you guys will enjoy some of the changes that'll be coming. And yeah, I'm going to try to go live again before the new year. But I have to kind of see. Now we know Fred is a blood-sucking worm who burrows into the flesh of creatures and living under the... How do we know that? How do we know that? What makes you say that? What makes you say that? Poor Fred, getting a bad rap. Okay, okra. Let me look up what okra looks like. I kind of know what it looks like when it's cut open. So it kind of looks like a pepper, almost. Okay, so, well, let's see. Let's finish up with some okra, shall we? I asked you about it. Oh, I'm sorry. I got busy talking and I forget sometimes what I say. Family's being weird this year, so don't know what the family's plan is for Christmas. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Okay, okra. Let's put some okra over here. So it's kind of a pepper shape. All I know is I have a crap ton of presents to give to my nieces. That's right. That's awesome. That's fun. I have some gifts for my niece too, of course. I love being her aunt. Let's see if we can quickly sketch out okra. I never thought I would say that in my life. I'm going to quickly sketch out some okra. Hey, John Snowden, paint some happy little okras. We're going to try to get some happy little okras. Let's see. This might be a terrible okra. But we're going to try. If I can find the right kind of colors. These are very vibrant. I must not use these very often. Not very familiar with them. Let's see. I'm everybody's Uncle Megan. My brother and sister-in-law are the worst when it comes to planning get-togethers. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's always that one person in the family that's pretty good about it, but nobody listens to them. And there's the one person that's always late. In our family, we all know who that person is. These pencils are meant to blend better on nicer paper, but since this is rough paper, it makes it a little hard. Looks like a something. And then it has like a brown. It's got like a brown top here. And then another greenish thing at the top. It does kind of look like a pepper though. There we go. Oh, and by the way, guys, you can't... Like I said, Kevin will be in the shop soon, but I do have other people over there in the shop as well, kind of like my Darth Maul, and I've got some really cool posters of One Piece characters like Luffy and Zoro and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, just wanted to make sure I remind you of that. All right, so we've got an okra, a really sad looking okra, and then maybe it would be good to, let's see, oh, they're an interesting, I assume it's a vegetable, right? They're very interesting. They're kind of like these star-shaped things. And then, okay, so we get the nuts, I don't know how to draw cheese. I mean, like, I could, but let's see. What about okra plant? Like, what's on it? Like, interesting. They grow upside down, which, I mean, for them, they don't, but they kind of look like they do. I don't know. I don't want to do too much more, although it feels like there's a lot of blank space. What if I, let's see. It probably would be better to do two. Two is always really great, but... What about berries? Berries are always... No, I don't think so. Berries won't make sense in a stew, right? Unless there's something in... Okay, so there's like salt and pepper. What else could I throw on here to kind of fill this in? I think maybe it has to do with... Let's see. Bring this a little closer. Get a darker green going. Maybe that's what it is. What are you guys hoping you get for Christmas this year? I know most of us are probably adults, but it's still nice to hope for stuff. New clothes, gift cards to the favorite place. I don't really like shopping. I don't really buy things for myself. So I always kind of hope for clothing. My neighbor sometimes buys me a Christmas present. She has the best taste. She buys better clothes for me than I do for myself. I'm like, I should just give her money and let her go shopping for me. Like, she got me a neon yellow sweater a couple years ago. I saw it and I was like blown away by it because it was so bright. And I thought, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to wear this? This is like, because I would never have gotten it for myself. It looked fantastic on me, if I do say so myself. It's like, this is amazing. I never in a million years would have picked out this sweater for myself. But some people just see things in you or on you than what you can see for yourself. And I think there's a great life lesson there. You know, you'd be surprised what other people see in you, on you, the potential. Excuse me. The potential that we all have to do, be, or wear something that we would otherwise never pick out for ourselves. And I just love how God kind of designs life that way, where it's like your neighbor could buy you a sweater and you'd be like, suddenly, oh, I realize there's a life lesson here. Does my neighbor have a mullet and coach middle school girls basketball? No. Why? I don't understand. Why would that be the criteria? I don't understand. A mullet? Because it was neon yellow? Is that why? Or is it a movie reference I'm not familiar with? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Kind of makes everything else look a little sadder. Let's see. Maybe if I make it enhance the moments. I know I keep saying it's like, oh, in my head. That was a little bit. No reason. Oh, okay. Just a random question. A random question. Hey, does your neighbor have a mullet? Do they teach women's basketball? Oh, and then maybe a touch of the white, green. They are very sharp. Yeah, again, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me this whole year. I'm not sure. I hope Fred glows in the dark. I hope not. That'd be weird. Maybe he does. Maybe some things are best just left wondering. But gosh, did I start live streaming this year? Did I start last year? I don't know. We've created some really cool things this year. I don't know. I wonder if Fred will become a sticker. I wonder if I should make a sticker of Fred. Simple little rat worm. Put him on my water bottle. Everybody be like, what is that? Oh, it's the main ingredient for a soup. Nothing to see here. It makes Fred look fat. I feel like Fred's just not. There's just not a lot of vibrancy to him. Well, still not quite as colorful as I want him to be. I might not have the right brown for this. There we go. That's a little bit better. Needed some red. It kind of looks like a rat then. I think we did a great job taking elements of both the rat and the worm, conjuring up this creature that lives in the murky, marshy places of the forest. That when it comes time for full development of this creature, it feels that it needs to be clean. It uses its little nub of a nose to seek out unsuspecting victims. Cheese victims. Leaving behind in the cheese. Letting the people know that they have that and that they're ready to be eaten. Maybe that's how they know. Kind of like ripe for the picking. Maybe that's how they know that they're safe to eat. That, friends, would be our ratworm, our character named Fred. I think he turned out pretty good. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for helping me create this character that we have lovingly named Fred. He's going to be eaten. And I'm really excited to see next year. Sounds like Tom is really curious himself about creating this soup, conjuring up these ingredients and mixing them together, okra and chestnuts, some kind of worm creature, and cheese, and mixing it all together. I am super excited, and I'm going to be messaging him about that, hoping that's going to come to fruition. Maybe that'll be one of my travels that I do in 2024. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope that you've left me a like on this video. I always enjoy it, and I will be back soon in the future. Not exactly sure when, But I'm going to try to make sure that I stream before the new year so we can hang out one more time before 2024. But if not, I will, of course, be leaving some videos. There's going to be some videos coming up, special videos on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then there's also going to be some shorts in between. So I won't leave you hanging. There will be still some creativity on this channel. And like I said, if you're interested in Keffin, having one for yourself, or if there's a creature that we've created that you like more than Keffin, although it's hard to say, like who likes more than Keffin, but I'd love to create that for you guys, and I'm going to make Keffins available on the Etsy shop here soon. If you're into coloring, but you're not really sure exactly where to start, you can always visit my Patreon page. I do offer free coloring pages right now to members. There's actually a free membership on Patreon where you can get access to some things there. And for the month of December, I'm releasing free stuff to everybody that's over there. So if you want some fun coloring pages, some chibi coloring pages, because that's primarily what I do, you can head over there. If you remember the last time we streamed, I was coloring this little guy. And you can get one and print one out for yourself over there on Patreon. Melvin the Elf. That's what we named him. I believe it was Forgotten Man, or was it Elsa Barrett? One of them named this cute, fun little guy. But anyway, guys, I do all hope that you guys all have a very Merry Christmas and a very wonderful new year. And just remember that if you are granted a new year, that means that there's something in store for you. There's something you need to be doing, somebody you could be helping, somebody you are an inspiration to. And just go into the new year with hope. Even if things are dark and crazy, there's always something around the bend. You just have to look for it. Kind of like little Fred here. That's right. Forgotten Man was the one that named him. Well, anyway, guys, thanks so much again for hanging out. And I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the week. I was getting ready to say weekend because I'm so accustomed to the weekend, but until next time.